Hey everybody, welcome to the Masters Fantasy Show, brought to you by MastersFantasyFootballLeagues.com. As always, I'm joined by the Masters crew. What's up, guys? How you doing today?
Doing great.
Yeah, great.
Yep, good stuff. Coming back at you guys today with the tight end draft order. Just had a recent Dynasty draft finish up. I'm going to be taking a look at the tight end position. Like I always say, man, ADPs are cool. But this is real live stuff, real draft values that's happening in some of our Dynasty drafts. Right before we jump into it, if you could hit the like and subscribe button, come be a part of the Masters family. Love to have you. If you're looking for a place to play Dynasty football, we got over 600 leagues, never folded a single one. Also popping up on your screen, easy way to get into one of our Dynasty drafts. Orphan teams are being sold daily. Previous owners paid your deposit, so you get a team half off. With that said, popping up on your screen here is going to be the top of the tight end list. A little bit of change from the other Dynasty drafts that happened this year. George Kittle takes over the 1 spot with the 2.10 pick. Pass it on to you guys. Was it the right move?
It's tough, but I feel like I'm higher on Kittle than most just because of the age. I should say both because of his age, and I feel like people are just treating Kelsey like he's ageless, and he's not. He's 30-plus years old. He's going to start to come down at some point. Not sure if it'll be this year or next year, but I think you definitely can make a case for Kittle being the tight end one in Dynasty.
Absolutely. And moving on to Kelsey at 3.2, I feel like that's right. I feel like, a lot of the times we see him still in the, late first round, early second, and it's kind of mind-boggling to me because, like Alex said, he's not getting any younger. He's quickly approaching that point where he might be done, And I feel like 3.2 is a good spot for him. And as it comes down to it, too, I'm not big on taking tight ends early anyways. Yeah. But I feel like this is the right order for a Dynasty draft.
Man, so I was just thinking, too, this Oklahoma Outlaws, he would have had the 1.2. So got a stud of the 1.2 probably. And then, late second. And then to get, probably the best tight end, the 3.2. Oklahoma Outlaws might be winning some money this year.
Yeah, might be.
And for me, that's a good call, Doc. On some of these, when we've done the tight end draft reviews, I've almost cringed a little when we're doing Kelsey at like the 1.10.
Yeah.
It's like hard to beat around the bush because you don't want to beat up the guy too bad. But it just seems like a bad pick.
Yeah, and even at the end of the day, he's going to produce at a crazy high level for a couple years still. Right. But, in a Dynasty, it's tough to take a guy that's been around like that.
But I'm with you at the 3.2. I just feel a lot better about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just one thing I wanted to point out, Dynasty Al, I think you pointed out on the last tight end show. Here we go. Them top 5 tight ends, same order. Yeah. Not same order, but the same 5 guys, which I think we all agree is the correct order there.
Yep.
All right, and then looking down after those top 5, anybody stick out to you?
So how far down are we looking?
Right after? I'll say Fant in general seems a little high to me. Looking at the guys behind him, I get it because there's not really a ton there, but it still feels a little high for me.
Yeah, and I don't love Fant's situation, but love the talent. I know we were both high on him coming out. Him and Hogginson were both just unreal at Iowa, phenom athletes. So I don't hate it just because of upside. And I just don't love a lot of the guys after him.
Right. That's the only thing that makes it okay to me, but I still probably wouldn't take a guy like Fant in the 6th round.
Yeah.
But that's kind of just me, though.
Yeah, I agree with overall, in terms of where he went in the draft too early, I was kind of comparing him to
I can't knock it, though, because if he does hit like he's supposed to, going into what I believe is year 3, correct? Mm-hmm. So he very easily could take that jump this year and make me look like a fool. Wouldn't be the first time.
Typically tight ends take a little bit longer to get going.
Especially a guy like him. He was a little more of a raw athlete. Right. So, I wouldn't be shocked if he came on strong this year.
I'll be honest, though, there was some head-scratching moves here. This is the first time I actually sat here and looked at this. I was, looking all the way. I was like, where did Jonnu Smith go? Henry Hunter at 7.9, Hunter Henry.
Yeah.
And then I'm looking, I'm like, wow, Jared Cook at 9.8. And then after Jared Cook, we got Jonnu Smith.
Yeah, that was the first thing that stuck out to me was I cannot believe Jonnu Smith is behind this many guys, especially Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry's probably got more name value at this point, but, I don't know. I got a lot more faith in Jonnu Smith than a lot of these guys drafted in the 8th and 9th round here.
Yeah, and one of the guys drafted in the 9th round who I just think way too high for me is Logan Thomas. Most people don't realize Logan Thomas is 30 years old, and he just had his first season with over 20 catches. We know he used to play quarterback, so his whole career has kind of been, crazy mess. But last year is the first year he's ever actually started, a full season at tight end.
Right.
And he had a good year, don't get me wrong, but he's 30 years old and has one decent tight end season to his name, and you're going to invest, a 9th round dynasty startup pick on that. When guys like Jonnu Smith, Cole Kmet, Tyler Higbee, the list goes on, just crazy too high for Logan Thomas.
Yeah, I 100% agree on that. And that being said, though, I do really like
Evan Ingram a pick behind him.
Right.
Yeah.
I really do like Logan Thomas in redraft, but I
Yeah.
agree. 9th round here it seems a little high for a guy that's 30 years old and has been playing tight end for 2 years maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one for sure.
Yeah, and we got a tight end, three tight ends we're recommending to sell. And I had a couple guys that I was going back and forth between. Looking at this, I've zeroed in who I'm going to recommend selling.
Nice,
Check out that episode. I think it'll be a good one. And just looking over at this tight end list, too, another guy sticks out to me I really like at the 8.3 is Robert Tonyan. I do think, and for the next 3 years, as long as he's paired with Aaron Rodgers, I think he's going to be a top 5, top 8 type of tight end in the league. I just don't see a lot of guys I personally think can challenge him, especially if Green Bay doesn't make any major upgrades on that offense.
Yep.
And even if they do, one thing I know for certain is that, go look at his touchdown total last year. Aaron Rodgers was looking for this guy in the red zone, and it just continued all season. So I actually really like Robert Tonyan here.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's a good value pick right there for sure.
All right.
Because he's still relatively young too, and if he continues what he did last year, I agree with you. That'll be a slam dunk pick there. I'm a little surprised that Will Dissly's ahead of some of these guys too,
especially his new teammate Gerald
Yeah.
Everett. I think a lot of people forgot that Seattle went out and signed Gerald Everett, and I would expect him to have a bigger role than Will Dissly.
Yeah, just looking at some of the guys behind him, Ertz, that's a mess of a situation, but assuming he ends up somewhere else and is the starter, I like him more than Dissly. I like Higbee more than Dissly. Hayden Hurst, especially if they trade, Julio, Hayden Hurst value goes up a little bit too. And then again, like you mentioned now, Gerald Everett, 12.12, 2 rounds later, and he very well could be the starter. That's the guy they went out and paid the money to, So I think that's interesting. And then there's some guys like Gronk and Hooper that, Gronk obviously a little older and probably a little less time left, but Hooper I'm kind of surprised he
Hooper,
dropped off that far.
Great value for Hooper, I think.
Yeah. And I've said it before, I expect Hooper to bounce back big time this year. So to get a guy like that in the 13th round is really good. I like that a lot.
And one guy I do like here, all the way down at 18.6, I like Eric Ebron, man.
Yeah.
And one thing about Ebron, I am a little tainted on him. Like the year he had the 13, I think it was 13 touchdowns with Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
I sat there and I told you guys my dynasty leagues, man. I'm working on them, man. I made some poor decisions, and one of the decisions I made is I went on every one of my dynasty teams after that 13 touchdown season. I gave up my first for Eric Ebron, literally like 2 weeks before Andrew Luck hung up and said he's done.
Yeah.
So every time I see him, it just hurts a little bit, you know. But I like the value all the way for this year anyway, down at 18.6.
Yeah, for sure. I like that as well.
I don't even want to say this right now because this guy is a far, far, far superior prospect. But Eric Ebron was an extremely highly touted prospect coming out of college, and then got a huge bust label. I'm a little afraid that the Kyle Pitts hype is just getting a little too crazy. I think he's way better than Eric Ebron, but these tight ends, they miss a lot. And Eric Ebron's a great example of a guy who, we loved coming out of college, ton of potential, first-round pick to the Lions, loved it. But I don't know, these young tight ends sometimes take a little time. So that's all I got.
Yeah, and in my defense, I just want to throw it out there one more time. I really did start to kind of blame it on Stafford.
Yeah.
Like when he looked so good with Luck.
Yeah.
He still was. He was like 25, 26 years old.
Yeah.
I felt like he could be a difference maker at the tight end position, but honestly, I'm still playing catch up from that move, and I won't do it again for a tight end. I'm good, man. Lesson learned on that one. All right, then any other guys here at the end of this list stick out to you guys?
I still have faith in O.J. Howard, a guy who was a late first-round pick in the real NFL draft a few years back. And, until he got hurt, he was actually out targeting Gronk in Tampa. This year might be a little messy with Gronk in the mix and kind of coming in strong at the end. But long term, I still think OJ Howard has potential for good years ahead.
Yeah, another one of those guys like Eric Ebron with a ton of height.
Yeah.
Just hasn't quite panned out at the tight end position.
Yeah.
Little caution for you Kyle Pitts guys.
Yeah.
I mean, having said that, he does look the part.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah. And
I feel like the difference is Pitts is really refined, whereas both those guys I feel like were just really freak athletes to be at a tight end position and weren't as skilled everywhere else. I can remember Ebron running like a fast 40, and people were like, whoa, a tight end ran that?
Right.
And it's just kind of different now, and I feel like Pitts is basically just like a really good receiver who's big enough to play tight end and can block and play tight end, you know? Yeah. I feel like he's a lot more refined as a player.
Yeah.
But I totally understand where you guys are coming from, for sure.
And by no means am I saying Pitts is...
No, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Right.
In terms of, again, Dynasty maybe not so as much, but redraft, I mean, right now, Jack Doyle looks kind of good that late. That's pretty good value. Yeah. Get a couple years out of him. I feel like I said that a year ago, too, in terms of Phillip Rivers. It didn't really work out. So I'm just going to keep saying it till it happens.
Got to think Carson Wentz helps him out quite a bit.
Yeah, I would think so. If they don't add anybody else, he can be, the poor man's version of Ertz. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I like Harrison Bryant as a player.
I'm a fan, too.
Yeah. Dynasty-wise, you got him in the 17th round. Hooper's always had issues with injury. So it's something to keep your eye on. I know David Njoku's back this year, but it seems like this will probably be his last year in Cleveland. So something to keep your eye on.
So David Njoku is a guy who's not pictured here. Obviously, we don't expect him to produce in Cleveland, but he's a guy who he's either going to be a free agent after the year or could get traded even as early as tomorrow night on draft night. So maybe in a new situation, David Njoku has value somewhere.
Yeah.
I could see that. Adam Troutman, another guy I've seen quite a few trades too. A lot of hype on Troutman in this offense. We'll see. I'm not too big on him. But I think right there, 13th round, good place for Troutman.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up this edition. Appreciate you for watching. If you could, hit the like and subscribe button. Come be a part of the Masters family. As always, if you're looking for a place to play Dynasty football, we've got over 600 leagues. Never folded a single one. Also, redrafts are getting ready to fire up. Email drafts are already running for redraft leagues. Any last words?
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.